Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the Voice of Reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside the former state of Ethiopia. Today, specifically, we are continuing to look at the Great Amharan Rebellion against the Abiy loyalist forces. Now, there has been talk recently that Fano and Amharan militia forces could try to make an advance on one or both of the two major Air Force bases controlled by Abiy loyalist forces. So first, we're going to look at the most important military target outside of the Defense Ministry headquarters in Addis Ababa and the seat of the Abiy Ahmed government in Addis Ababa. But arguably the most important military target in all of Ethiopia is the Bishoftu Air Force Base, located just south of the town of Bishoftu. And hopefully I am saying that correctly. The Harar Meta Airport, which is also the main Abiy loyalist Air Force Base. And I've covered this Air Force Base a few other times during the Tigrayan War, the war that Abiy Ahmed launched on the Tigray region. But now, specifically, we have heard reports that Amharan regional militias could in fact attempt an advance, a move to attack the main Ethiopian Abiy Ahmed loyalist Air Force Base. Is that possible? Could Amharan forces achieve that objective? Well, it would be more likely, I would say at this point, that Amharan forces would launch an attack directly on Addis Ababa as opposed to the Bishoftu Air Force Base. You can see here, this is the border of the Amhara region that separates the Amhara region from Oromia. Now, we know Fano is operating in these border areas. But do they have sufficient force to make a move south towards the Bishoftu Air Force Base? I would say at this point, probably not. That would be a very difficult military objective for Fano fighters. They would be moving across relatively flat ground, and obviously, the Abiy loyalist Air Force would throw its full weight against Fano fighters. If we have a close look, now this is a dated satellite photograph of the Abiy loyalist Air Force, and you can clearly see Su-27s parked in this area. You can see helicopters. You can see transport aircraft. Additional Su-27s. You can see ground attack aircraft. You can see Hind 24 attack helicopters. You can see aging aircraft that probably are not being used at this point. And then you can see hardened aircraft shelters. So this is to the southern point of the Air Force Base. And you can clearly see that the Abiy loyalist Air Force has hardened aircraft shelters. You can see the stockpile of equipment. But the biggest threat for these Amharan fighters, Fano, is going to be the use of the drones, the TB2 in the Chinese Wing Loon drones that have been supplied by China and Turkey to the Abiy loyalist forces. And I've talked about it in the past that the munitions, especially the MAML missile that is used on the TB2 drone, the Abiy loyalist forces are starting to run out of those systems. But if the Fano organization, Amharan militia units were to move on this airport, or an attempt to move southward into Oromia, you can almost be assured that Abiy loyalist forces would use everything at their disposal to defend this Air Force base. You would have Republican Guard units, you would have federal police forces that are loyal to Abiy Ahmed defending this base, but again, more importantly, would be the use of those drones against those Fano fighters. It would be a difficult move south for Fano. And I think at this point, it is fairly unlikely that we'd see that occur. Now, there's another Air Force base to the northwest, and that locale is near Bahir Dar. And this is another very important Air Force base for the Abiy loyalist forces. In fact, this Air Force base was attacked by Tigrayan precision-guided ballistic missiles. A Tigrayan ballistic missile attacked this Air Force base. In fact, you can see the patch. This is where the missile struck. And this is where you can obviously see the repairs have been done to the tarmac. You can see, again, dated photo. You can see Abiy loyalist aircraft based here. We also believe that, again, there are drone systems based at this Air Force facility as well. Probably the second most important military target in the former state of Ethiopia, controlled by Abiy Ahmed, the Bahir Dar Air Force Base. So again, I would say at this point, where it's possible, I would say it's more likely that we would see Fano fighters attack Bahir Dar, but there is a significant presence of Abiy loyalist fighters in this area of the regular quote-unquote Ethiopian National Defense Forces of the former state of Ethiopia. So again, from a military perspective, very, very difficult for Fano fighters to advance towards Addis Ababa, to advance towards Bishoftu Air Force Base. I don't think that's going to occur. I think if they did try it, it would result in catastrophic casualties for those Amharan militia fighters. You can't rule it out, but at the same time, I don't think it's outside the scope of possibilities that we could see it. We could see an attempt by Fano. But ultimately, again, very difficult for columns of moderately to low-trained fighters moving in column formations with trucks and on foot in large column moving south along these roads. If you look here, this is the route that these fighters would be taking to move south. And these TB2 drones, it would be just catastrophic for those Fano fighters. The Abiy loyalist forces would be using the MAML missile with a thermal barrack warhead. You can go online and observe the effects of the TB2 drone in the Azeri war against the Armenians. that one system proved to be one of the leading causes of fatalities for Armenian forces, the TB2 drone. The Amharan forces do not have any ability to counter those TB2 drones. Now, we've seen the Russians successfully negate the TB2 drone in Ukraine. But Amharan forces simply do not possess that kind of technology to negate that drone threat. And hence it would be a turkey shoot for those Abiy loyalist forces engaging columns of Fano fighters moving along road routes much like this. Again, they would be looking in the thermal spectrum with some very advanced L3 optics, and it would just be a turkey shoot. So we will continue to watch what is happening in the ongoing civil war in the former state of Ethiopia. We will continue to provide analysis. We are watching things very closely. Information is difficult to come by, but when we get it, we will definitely produce more content. Thank you for joining us. More to come. And as always, have a good day.